Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spitballing. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
It has been a while since I've said those words, my friend.
Damn, we've really slowed down our output here. But shit, the world has gone mad.
Yeah.
Well, my life has gone
your
mad.
life has gone mad. Yeah. Right off the top, let's do a Booboo update.
Okay. So a couple weeks ago, like a week ago, like a week and a half ago, whatever, we were in Duluth for a few days. Now Booboo had this sore, not a sore, but it was like a growth in his mouth.
Yeah.
Like it looked like it was filled with fluid or something like that.
And he's teething.
Yeah, and he's teething to boot, so like everything is off kilter anyway.
Right. So he's going to be a monster because he's only what?
Yeah, because he's 11 months old.
Yeah, and he's already got a full set of fangs.
Yes.
That's crazy.
With one big sharp one right in front.
Right.
But you remember Fang Face?
It's vaguely familiar.
It's not important, but yeah. So, but this thing kept growing. We were up in Duluth, and the growth was alarming. So when we were up there, we consulted a pediatrician. Actually, PJ reached out to me and was like, "Hey, man," I'm like, "Send me a couple pictures. I'm going to send them to my dad."
Oh, cool.
So we got his opinion. We also talked to my dentist, Luke Niswa, and I talked to him a little bit. But it's at that point, it's just pictures and shit, and us trying to describe what's.
And it was
going on.
obviously like, was it hurting him? Maybe he was fussy and.
Yeah, it was. It was sensitive, and he was a little off his feed. So then we came home. Because they were both like, well, go see your pediatrician, and went and saw his pediatrician. Then went and saw a pediatric dentist. That's what she recommended. The pediatric dentist recommended we take him to his pediatrician. Not super impressed with that fucking place, but it was in St. Cloud. They have an office up here too. I'm not gonna poo-poo them on here. So we take him home that night. Wake up like 4:30 in the morning. He's got a fever, like a bad fever.
Okay.
And we take him to the emergency room. Actually, first, of course, we give him some Tylenol. Then we take him to the emergency room. ER doctor, well, everything seems to be okay. I don't know what that is. Let's just give it 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So, fast forward a few hours, we're racing to Children's Hospital in the Twin Cities.
So did the ER doctor just said, take him home and whatever, but
Yeah.
you guys were like, fuck that, this is...
Yeah, we got, again, social media, got some feedback from some medical professionals that are friends and family members of ours.
Yeah.
And everybody was, and they were like, you need to take him to a fucking real hospital.
Right.
And we did, and we're very glad that we did. So the thing in his mouth turned out to be like really secondary.
Okay.
Apparently it was just like a regular kind of like teething related like infection or whatever.
Okay.
That just got out of hand because his neutrophil count was so low. Now neutrophils are one of the are the most common type of white blood cell.
Okay.
They make up like 70-ish% of your white blood cells. Now,
You obviously knew this going in.
of course,
Yeah.
I just picked it up along the way, feeding vampires and shit. So his neutrophil levels were low. Now, when I say low, like a neutrophil count for a child his age is like 500 is severe. Like 500 is severely low.
Okay.
His count was 0.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like they couldn't find any.
That's not good, right?
No, it was awful. And they told us this, and now, of course, the first thing that pops into my head, and anyone's head, I guess, is probably like leukemia. Thinking cancer, all these horrible possibilities and stuff.
Right.
So that, and that was a tough night. That was a real tough ad.
Yeah.
Now, by the next day, they had all but ruled out any kind of cancer or anything like that, and we're starting to explore the possibility that it was a autoimmune thing.
Okay.
And that's where we're still at right now. He gets, I take him in for blood work Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Oh,
every week.
so you got another full-time job.
Right?
Yeah, moving furniture and now doctor's appointments for Booboo.
Yeah, got the
So, what is an autoimmune
disorder?
disorder?
Yeah. No, there's a couple of different possibilities here. The most likely one is one that shows up, and I should have fucking wrote down the names of these. But the one shows up in kids his age, and they grow out of it. It's an autoimmune thing that you just have to kind of manage. But it's manageable. It's I don't want to say common, but it's not fucking extremely rare.
Right.
And the other one is cyclical neutropenia.
Okay.
Maybe. Now that one is where you could also most kids grow out of this one too, but this one is just where like every 3 or 4 weeks your neutrophil count just takes a nosedive.
Okay.
And then builds back up and then takes a nosedive.
So without this neutrophil stuff, like does that mean you're like susceptible to?
His immune system is extremely compromised.
And yet he's not really been sick ever.
No, I mean he was sick once, and and that's one of the things that helped him rule out like a congenital thing.
Okay.
Because he hasn't had it since day one, because he had the appropriate white blood cells to fight off an illness in the past.
Right. But I mean, he just had like a cold,
yeah.
He wasn't. Yeah. He didn't get deathly ill from it.
No.
Huh.
No. Shit just went away. So I mean, it's not. He's not on anything right now, and they basically told us just to proceed, like normal, like our normal, like my normal, because I told him I haven't been at the bar, I haven't been, like out and about.
So you still haven't been working? You didn't even work the crazy, geez.
No, I'm, and that shit went right from, like my dad's got less appointments now, and my brother's like healthy again, so he's like taking, picking up the slack and shit. Went right from like my dad worried about my dad's compromised immune system and stuff to Booboo's, and it's crazy. It's honestly, I'm kind of fucking freaking out. But and that's why I got a hold of you, and I'm like, the pods must be cast. Like I need to fucking do some like my normal life shit. Yesterday last night I went in and stuff and talked to, spent like a half hour just talking to Cody and shit like that, because I haven't, there's just certain shit that I'm used to. And as much as I would love to pretend that like I'm some fucking, tower of iron will, that works through all my shit without like, verbalizing anything and just fucking, keeps that shit all internalized. Is that even healthy? I don't know.
No.
I really have like the reason that I have been able to manage, the reason I manage stress so well is because I have these certain things like in my routine,
right?
That I fucking, that I do, and when we talked about since day one, how fucking cathartic, this is.
Yes. Yeah.
And get a lot of shit off my chest, I do that with Cody too. Like these are like the two main things that I kind of do to,
right.
This is my valve.
Right. So, did you talk to them at all about the whole? Now, if Booboo's got a compromised immune system, like how does COVID affect that? Does that make him at a much higher risk for? I mean, because obviously COVID in children has been like minimal, but having a compromised immune system,
unless they're unable to fight it off,
right?
Then it's a fucking killer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard. Though it was interesting, and I'm obviously a scientist, but I was listening to a podcast. Okay, I'm not a scientist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express, and I listened to a lot of podcasts. And it was about they were trying to understand why young people didn't get affected by COVID as much, and they were thinking that the actual it was actually because their immune system wasn't as developed, because part of what fucks people up is that when COVID hits, their immune system like overreacts, and that's what causes like the lung damage and shit. Apparently, again, I'm not a
And see,
not an
that's
actual
another
scientist.
important thing that like, even if the people fucking just gloss over, especially dumbasses on social media. Like, it's not, the dying from it is not the only thing. Like, one, you don't want to be hooked up to a fucking ventilator.
Yeah, that's
Two, there's
pretty much
all
it.
kinds of
Zero.
long-term effects, side effects
Yeah,
that people are
even
fucking
some
getting and shit.
even some really mild cases apparently are having some serious long-term lung damage, which I thought
Yeah.
it was like kind of scary.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of that. Yeah. So that sucks. Well, I think you'll be all right. I got a
Yeah.
feeling.
I mean, we're already doing the right, like, we're already doing all the right shit.
Well, and good for you guys. I think that's kind of a common trope, is that like people get sick, they go to the hospital, they say rub some dirt on it, send you home.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that's the right thing, then you gotta act. I mean, it's really important. You can't just be like, doctor said I'm cool. You got so good for you guys to actually like take that step. And
Well,
like,
I'm glad that people like reached out and were like, no fucking way, you
Right.
know? And because at first I was like, come on, but no, they were, like the main one was Christine's cousin. She's an ER nurse, and she was like, and she's an ER nurse in Boston, where they've seen a lot more cases and stuff. Boston, which actually, I don't know if you heard anything about this, but Massachusetts has will quarantine people coming into the state now.
I haven't heard
Like
that.
there's fucking signs on the highways and shit like that, and like hotels and stuff like that. When you check in, they have to hotels and like even
Airbnb.
yes, Airbnb. Like these places have to notify you that if you're from out of state, like you must like fucking quarantine or whatever for 2 weeks, or well, you have to go get tested. Like you've got like X amount of time to get tested and shit. Otherwise, they charge you like $500 a day.
Did they test Booboo?
Huh?
Did they test Booboo?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
negative.
he did not like it.
No
yeah, he
shit.
was-
It's horrible. Horrible. I've been tested only for the antibody test. And
I did that
Came
too.
back negative, but
I was hoping that I
was hoping I had
I was
it,
hoping
too.
that mine would come back positive so that I could go back to the bar and shit. Because it's summer and fucking they need me and stuff, but my family needs me more.
Oh, for sure.
So, but yeah, I fucking went in and got tested and stuff because I'm like, man, just let me have already had it so I can
Because
get my life back to
I got
normal.
sick about a week in to the quarantine or to the lockdown, and it wasn't bad. I just had a couple days where I felt like crap. I had a like a mild cough, a real stuffed up nose.
Painful urination.
No, not that. But I did have like really bad body aches, and it was just a couple days, but it was enough where I took a couple days off work, and then was like, maybe that was it. Maybe I had it, and so I was disappointed when the antibody test came back negative because I
Me
was
too.
like, shit, I thought I had it.
Fucking yeah, man. I was really bummed out because I was like, man.
But you never got sick at all this whole time.
But I did. I was sick for a while this winter.
Right. That's what. Yeah. A lot of people think that maybe they got it real early, like
Yeah.
December or January.
Well, because remember
Yeah.
when I was like, I kept
I think
going
that's
into the doctor,
Mm-mm.
and I was in there like fucking 4 or 5 times or whatever, and my doctor was like, "Well, you got into some nasty shit," like. And
Yeah, I
didn't
do
know what it
remember
was.
you being really sad. That's true.
And
That was
like,
long too.
yeah, and he, and he was like baffled by it, like I don't know what the hell this is. No, yeah, I was like,
Wasn't
oh,
COVID.
Man, no.
Bummer.
It was herpetogonosyphilis. But so yeah.
Well, the holes in your face have healed up good.
Right. So if you don't see me out in public or at the bar and or any of that in the not so distant future, that's what's up. So I'm but they could get a hold of us at any like I said, we're doing blood work fucking 3 days a week.
Right.
And they're keeping in touch. We're doing like Zoom meetings and shit like that with his doctors and stuff. And man, I gotta tell you, I hope no one ever has to bring their child to the children's hospital there. But man, if you do, you are in the fucking right place.
No, 100%. Brock's son had that crazy heart condition, and I know he was down at Children's, and it's the fucking bomb diggity.
Dude, I don't know what their fucking their HR staff or whatever. I don't know how they screened for this, but the people were so kind and warm and friendly and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like the security guys were super helpful and shit like that. One day I was at the desk waiting to try to flag somebody down or whatever in one area. Everybody was busy, and there was a dude. I think he was a janitor or something, and he's he's like, hey, can I help you? And I'm like, man, I'm just looking for some. I was looking for some scissors. I had to cut Booboo's sleeves off because he had this fucking brace thing on because he had a goddamn one of those little ports in there where they could. Anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm cutting some sleeves.
Poor little guy had to go through the whole fucking rigmarole, huh?
And this guy's like, oh man, and we started joking around and he helped me out and shit. And I'm like, God damn, everybody that I've run into here is just amazing.
Yep, I think that'll be I would challenge anybody to come up with a different experience because that's everything I've ever heard about it has been top notch.
Dude, next time I get sick, I'm like, they're
just
gonna be no, you're not a child.
Children's.
I'll be like, fuck you.
I'm a big baby.
I will fucking straighten up act like it. I will shit myself.
And it's such an interesting thing because we have the best health care in the fucking world, but we also have one of the worst healthcare systems in the world.
Yeah.
So it's such a paradox because, people brought it up a ton, and we had a big long. If you want to go back and watch me rant and rave for a couple hours, we had a whole podcast about the universal healthcare at one point. But it's yeah, you're right. People come from all over the world to go to Children's and to go to the U and to go to John Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic. We and specifically in Minnesota, we have we have the best healthcare in the world, but we have the worst. We have some of the fucking worst healthcare coverage, and that is such a hard thing for people to not point to and say well, man, if you're in Canada and you need your hip replaced, you're probably going to come down to the Mayo Clinic, and if you can afford it, you probably are. But the thing is the average bear.
I was looking into that. Actually, I wasn't looking into that. That was just a fucking a side note. I was looking at the countries, because the argument, I participate in the argument on Facebook so fucking much. And I'm looking at what the countries that have really come out on top, countries that have really kicked COVID's ass, what they have all done and what they have in common and stuff, and, in which countries those are. And, surprise, surprise, what was one of the key things, the one thing that they all had in common?
Was universal healthcare.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the other things were shit like masks and stuff, but you can't tell cousin fuckers that. So.
It's Sweden, right? Is the one that never did the lockdown, or is that Norway?
Sweden, yeah. They went a different route. They were they fucking shot straight for herd immunity and backfired.
Well, I don't know that I actually agree that it backfired. The data is
they say it backfired.
Oh.
You know how they lie.
I don't know. I just I listened to a podcast the other day about it. But that has been.
He said he lies.
That has been a couple. It's been maybe a month ago now. Okay, but that aside, regardless of whether or not that experiment was the correct choice, they also have fantastic health care.
Yeah.
And so it's if you're gonna fucking roll the dice with something like this, people. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. You got people saying, "Well, fucking Sweden just let it buck," and they, whatever. but they also had universal health care.
Well, you know,
They
and at
also
first it looked like they
really
had the
good
right
testing.
idea. I mean, at first it was like, oh,
Yeah,
look at these
the
guys.
the last I heard, like the verdict was still out because they did have some. They had some really high death rates in the beginning, but they were like, I mean, it's a long race.
Yeah, it appeared
so
to
you
like
have
level
see.
off and shit.
Yeah, but apparently it went.
Now it has turned into a cautionary tale.
Oh, interesting. I didn't actually know that.
It's 'cause
But
you don't argue enough
the
on Facebook.
point is, yeah, I like, I was going to also say it's interesting because you live such a public life on Facebook, which I think has pros and cons. But this is definitely an example of a pro where, you put this out about Booboo and then you're getting all of this actually real solid sage advice from people, which
Absolutely. And that's another one of the things like, like my Facebook presence and stuff like that. Between me and Christine, like with the stores and fucking, and us, the podcast and fucking, and just everything, all the shit that I put out there, just my shit posting and stuff. And of course, my beloved memes. People like bitch constantly about Facebook and stuff. And I'm like, man, between being kind of isolated from people, during the pandemic and stuff, or plandemic, if you will. But all these things, I'm always seeing fucking great things happening from my Facebook connections and stuff.
for sure.
And they definitely like. Do you have to do I have to deal with some idiots? Well, of course, but that's life. I'm pretty sure like if you went back 50 years, you're not going to find people going, no idiots here.
Right.
Like, go back another 50, go back 1,000, whatever. Jesus, you run into any idiots? Sure enough,
I saw a great shirt the other day, and it was Jesus, and it said OMG, OMG guys, that's not what I said. I thought it was pretty great. I was thinking I was going to try to make it, but it would have been pretty difficult for my skill level, but I'm not ordering that shit.
No, God, shirts are expensive. Although I am
Though,
about to order a bunch more.
Speaking of shirts, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about this beauty. Do you see this
Man,
one?
that is a good one.
So this is an interesting
A teal looks like woodsy Be Social shirt.
Yeah.
From
the Ninth Street Social Club. So what this is Rob Lewis decided that he wanted to do a limited edition artist run of T-shirts. So he gave artists that were interested in doing it the template for the Be Social, and then they could do whatever the fuck they wanted with it. And this one is done by Chase Vreeland.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude.
And it's even signed right here. And the cool thing is they're $25, and $5 is it goes back to the artist.
I don't think I've seen Chase since he got married. Congratulations if you watch this.
Oh, yeah. He and his beautiful wife are great.
Yes.
I see him.
Katie, right?
Katie. Yeah. I see him at Habitat for Humanity.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's super cool, and there's some other artists in the pipe that are designing shirts now, and I believe, and I'm not 100% on this, but or I know Rob at least talked about it, is that the Crossing Arts Alliance is even like on board and is selling the shirts there, doing some cross pollination. But it was pretty cool, and yeah, I love the shirt, and I'm just really amped to see what each artist is going to do. I was talking to Ricka Berglund last night, and Ricka's a fantastic local artist, and
I haven't bought a lot of art in my life, but I have bought a couple of Ricka's
stuff.
Yeah.
I had an original one of Ricka's for 15 years, but it was on loan. I mean, I didn't own it, but I hung it in every restaurant that I had, and then bitch took it back. Yeah. But she's a really, really interesting artist, but she basically she paints one thing, and it's her.
And the mother of my adorable tiny cousin.
Oh, yeah, sure. But she paints a self-portrait of herself over and over and over again. And it is so neat because they're just vibrant colors. She's got just a style that I'm like, man, that's a Rika right there. But I think it's funny. And she said, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, I do. I know what you're going to do. You only do one thing. But, she does one thing very, very well. So I thought that was, I think that's a really cool idea. I wanted to say one more thing about Rob. I think it was last weekend. Yeah, it must have been last Saturday. Actually about Rob, but also about Zorbas. We went out there for whose birthday was it? Megan's boyfriend. Whose name escapes me right this second for some dumb reason. But anyway, and Rob invited Meta and I out there and just have some pizza or whatever. And it was a blast. It was fun. But, so there was a guy playing on stage or whatever, and he took a break, and some wasted chick got up there and was like talking on the microphone and being all ridiculous. And our server, just stomped up there and fucking grabbed her and like let her off the stage and kicked her friend out who was pole dancing on the like big there's like big 6x6 beams, and she's like pole dancing, and I'm like, don't pole dance on
broad fucking daylight.
Don't pole dance on with a wood beam, man. That's a vagina sliver, and you don't want a vagina sliver. I told oh God, I'm having such a name problem. This is relatively early for me. It takes a while for my brain to work. But I was like, oh my God, if you get a vagina sliver, God forbid it gets in the clitoris, because you'll never find it. That thing doesn't exist. But and then so I thought it was super cool that this, and I mean, she was like, I should have caught her name because I could tell you, but I mean, she was all 4 feet tall, and it wasn't, she wasn't an imposing figure, but she went out there and just got those.
She's short, darkish hair, cute.
Well, they're all cute, yeah. So I'm gonna go with yeah. And so Rob's
probably my homegirl Jana.
Rob pulls her over and gave her a chunk of money. I don't know exactly what it was, but gave her a nice tip and said, "I just really appreciate what you did there." And she's like, "This is a family place. It's the middle of the day." What the hell? I was like, "Fucking right." So it was pretty awesome. Yeah, had a good time.
It is a fun place. It's a magical place.
It was nice because
look forward to going back.
It was, we were outside and you were able to kind of, like tables are spread out. And, it's cool. It's a rough one though. This whole, this is a weird year, Yeah. 2020.
Yeah.
But this is a really weird time period where things are trying to start opening up again. Obviously, the Governor Walz just made the mandatory mask.
You mean Satan?
Yeah. And then, and I work just Saturday nights at the 9th Street Social Club, and that's my only real, out in the public interaction. I gotta tell you, man, my shift's about a 12-hour shift. It is a bitch to wear a mask for 12 hours.
Dude.
It is hard as fuck, and especially with glasses.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost impossible. So on Friday, I was like kind of stressing out about it because I'm like, fuck, I gotta work all day tomorrow on a mask, and like, what am I gonna wear for a mask and whatever. And I don't know, maybe that I shouldn't be saying this on publicly because it's probably not great. But I looked at what the requirements were or whatever, and basically I just needed a face covering, right? It didn't have whatever. So I ended up cutting a T-shirt, and so this is my mask right here, just like that, and it's just that's it. And it was the most tolerable that I could handle to all that time. But even so, like, my glasses were fogged up half the time. I had to wear them on the top of my head.
Most tolerable, not an award that I've ever won.
Yeah, it's tough.
Speaking of the mask thing, also, I was just kidding about Governor Walz. I think he's done a spectacular job under extreme duress, even though everybody fucking hates him because they're children.
Well, they're exactly one half of, well, maybe a little bit less than one half of Minnesota hates him. We're a weird state.
Just the rocks and cows. But you heard about that, right? Like, apparently at one point, not apparently, I guess I heard the audio. So he did call, like, Greater Minnesota. He's like, basically he was saying, like, what's in Greater Minnesota? Rocks and cows. And I'm like, I kind of like that. I'm a cow. But so the mask thing. This is kind of funny. Over the weekend, a guy robbed a bank in Garrison. I'm sure you probably saw that.
I didn't, but he wasn't wearing a mask.
He was not wearing a mask. So they got the video of this guy, and he's wearing a hat and sunglasses. And I made a joke about it, about how when everybody's wearing masks and you rob a bank in sunglasses and a hat, that's like the biggest flex ever,
right?
And everybody's like clowning this guy, like, oh, stupid is he? But here's the thing, and this might not be a real thing. This is just my explanation. And no, it wasn't me. The guy was like tall and slim, not short and fat as fuck.
You could not rob a bank like. You can't. There's just certain body styles that just can't rob a bank. Like, what did he look like?
Well, he started wheezing as he was running away.
That's not what I'm saying.
And then he took a sharp right turn. He's over there at McDonald's right now. We can see him from here. No, but if you've worn a mask with glasses, and this is my thing, I'm like, okay, so he's got a little scruffy beard. Well, he can shave that off or whatever. That makes a big fucking difference.
Oh, for sure.
And like, if you've ever wore glasses with a mask, that shit fogs up like instantly.
Right.
Now, if you're in the middle of committing a major felony, and you might have to shoot your fucking way out of there or something, like you're robbing a bank. You can't have your glasses fogging up.
For sure.
Plus, so I mean,
plus this is what he has to do for disguise. He has to go like this. Put on a mask.
Right.
Take off the glasses. Bam! It was brilliant.
Yep. You can wear your disguise everywhere else.
Right. But that is kind of funny to rob a bank with and be the one guy not wearing a mask.
Because somebody said something about somebody else commented on it, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, he was last seen dragging his enormous balls into that fucking getaway car over there. Just fucking. Dude.
So did he get away with it?
So far.
Really?
But I mean, they get they rob a bank, and you got the FBI fucking with you and stuff like that.
Shouldn't rob banks.
No, but if you do rob a bank, like you hit those small banks and fucking places like that and shit, and there's some people that still do that shit, and like that's their expertise. That's what they do. It's weird in this day and age that it still happens, but fuck.
Yeah. Well, Brainerd has a long history of. Isn't it the Elks building that has?
I wish I knew more
bullets?
about that.
Yeah, I should actually look more into it. But I believe that the Elks building downtown has bullets from
I've heard that growing up and shit.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff about Brainerd because there's tunnels that go from to the Burlington Northern buildings all the way to I don't know, the last turn and all of that.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah, I've been in the tunnel from the last turn. I've gone into the last turn tunnel, which is super cool.
Fucking cool.
And it is freaky as fuck because you go down there and there's all this weird shit. There's what is that thing you push a child in? A carriage.
A pit full of tigers?
Very good. What is that? Baby carriage, I guess. And just some weird old shit. Yeah, and it's just freaky as shit. And there was going to be. Remember back in the day, they had that Ghost Hunters. I think that's what it was called. Yeah. They actually, the producer of Ghost Hunters came and checked it out, and they were actually going to do a Ghost Hunters episode there, but they ended up not working out for whatever reason. But
they were like, fuck. Well, they were like, you want me to go to Minnesota?
Yeah, they were like, Brainerd. Yeah.
Those people are like creationists and shit there.
So speaking of the Burlington Northern building, did you hear that Roundhouse Brewery has moved?
Oh, were they opening up another location or did they move?
Okay, so I don't want to speak for them because I don't know 100%, but
because I saw their sign is up and everything, and that's a fantastic spot.
Fantastic location. I'm super bummed out actually though, because I loved Roundhouse Brewery and I loved its location. I loved the railroad yards. I loved everything about that area. But apparently, it wasn't working out there for them. And then they got the opportunity to buy the Nisswa Brewery? Is that what it was?
Gull Dam
Gull
Brewery.
Dam Brewery. That's what it is. It's on 371 going up north.
I've gotten fucked up in there, like when it's not even open. Like the
Oh, really?
brewmaster used to be. Yeah, I used to party with a couple of dudes at work.
I've only
when
been
I
there
first
3
started.
times, and all 3 times it was for concerts, and their concert venue is fucking awesome. And my biggest
So
complaint...
you've got to be excited about that
Oh,
part.
I mean, excited. If for those of you who are only listening, I did raging hard on.
Yes. The what is it called? The gesture for raging boner,
Yes.
which actually is a raging boner.
My biggest complaint about Roundhouse, where it was that the acoustics in it sucked, and
Word.
but they had great bands that would come and play, and if they can continue to get great music like that, but they can do it at this new location that has a fantastic outdoor music venue, it's going to be bomb. But here is the best part. I was over Roundhouse the other night watching Drew Peterson, and I talked to Sully, and she said, "Hey, I heard a rumor that you were into axe throwing." And I was like, "Yeah, I am. Why?" And she goes, "Well, we're thinking about doing axe throwing at the new location." And I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." And yeah, so I did a little consult with them about like what it takes to do axe throwing and so on and so forth. And yeah, so apparently I'm not 100% on this. Again, I'm kind of speaking out of school. I'd really like to get one of those people on. Sully would be my choice because I know her, but at some point, yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, but if they can actually pull that off, that's fucking great. Have you ever been to a place that has axe throwing?
Just rendezvous.
Okay, so
my brother's a big tomahawk guy.
yeah, so it's becoming a thing in bars.
My buddy Luke can throw the fuck out of a tomahawk.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is so I don't know. It was probably 5-6 years ago. Peyton and I started getting into throwing axes.
Yeah, you told me about
Yeah,
that.
and I have another buddy that has a bunch of trees that that's Reed's excavating, and when all those trees went down, whatever it was 5 years ago, he like spent that whole summer like going around and picking up all these trees that like because he had the equipment to do it. Well, he just put all those fucking trees in a big field out at his place, so his like all these giant trees, and he had a bunch of it sawed up for wood or whatever, but he still got like hundreds of ginormous trees. And so I just go out there whenever I want. And I cut slabs off of them.
I wonder if he's got any. I wonder what he's got. I wonder if he's got any cottonwood and stuff.
Oh, he probably does.
Well, because hammer slogging logs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, does it have to be cottonwood?
No, but it works the best.
Oh. Well, fuck, dude. I mean, he's got a lot of wood. But, so I just cut slabs off of it, and then we hang it, and at the shop, I have slabs of this wood hanging on the wall. Like, when I say slabs, I mean, like, discs, like 3 foot around discs of wood. And they're about, 8 inches thick. And then we throw axes at it, and yeah. But it's becoming a thing. There's a league. There's an axe throwing league, and there's like a place in Duluth that does it. A couple places in the cities. It's huge all over. In big cities, it's pretty big. So if they can fucking do that, I think that is going to be absolutely amazing. And I love to throw me an axe. So.
Man, that is cool. But man, ordinarily, throwing axes and drinking don't mix.
You would think that, but it really does. It mixes very, very well.
Well, if I ever get canned out at the Z, maybe they'll be in need of my services.
Like I hear what you're saying, though. That does sound kind of insane, like drinking and throwing axes. But it's very much like throwing darts. You know what I mean?
And a brewery isn't like the kind of bars.
Yeah. But even so, like they have like fucking big old boozy bars that have axe throwing. You're in a lane, You're in a lane. You can't throw an axe at anybody else. There's like either netting in between you and the person or whatever. So you go into this lane and then you throw down the lane. So and there's somebody there that's like making sure you don't fuck up, and they'll throw.
So there's nobody on the other end catching your axe.
No. There's this one.
I mean, not here.
There's this one where the guy like puts an apple on his head, but that's
William Tell. That's an interesting story. That whole anyway. But man,
I'm super excited about it.
Further from you, closer to me.
Yeah. Until you become my neighbor, please won't you be?
Also true. Yes. What Matt's talking about. There's there's a couple of houses in the neighborhood that Christine and I have. But I need to see, like, my needs are so specific.
I know about air conditioning, and it's very difficult when you're looking at old houses. That
I not only do I need AC, I also need room for a garden for Booboo.
Well, that place with the red door is awesome.
It has a big old yard. But I'd hate to have a garden in town where, like, I'd need a fence and shit like that. And,
homie knows how to make a fence.
Yeah. But there, just all kinds of stuff. Need to be able to step outside and pee. I grew up in the woods. Like,
yeah, you don't want to do that in town.
Yeah.
You'll become a fucking registered sex offender.
Right? Just like that again.
Okay.
But, so we were talking about masks.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to put this out there for anyone that's listening, in case you're not clear on this subject. So no matter what side of the whole mask versus just being a cunt thing you fall on, the idea of keeping people, like, keeping the vulnerable among us safe by, wearing masks and taking precautions and stuff like that, is not quite the same as exterminating Jews in Nazi Germany. Now, I know, like, if and anyone that's on Facebook has seen this stuff, so you know what I'm talking about. Can you imagine how insulting that would be for, like, a Holocaust survivor to see that shit and just be like, for one, if you're a Holocaust survivor, you'd be probably pretty fucking old right now anyway.
Right, you'd be like
in that category. You'd be like, so fucking wait a minute. You think this is like this? Like, go fuck yourself. I'm verklept.
We gotta.
But it's so fucking stupid.
There's a meme. There's a meme in my brain. I've never seen it, but like something about like never again, and then like with a mask and like making it like this is so. You don't tread on me, motherfucker. Oh, that's good. I gotta work on it.
Oh, 9 you didn't.
Oh.
Fucking. I keep seeing that shit and I'm like, God damn it, and even like today I saw a guy reference it. Of course, I'm not sure what he was talking about. He might have been talking about the stormtroopers in fucking Portland.
Yeah, I haven't followed that either, but
I can always never count on you for current events.
Why would they like Trump can't be using cool names like stormtroopers.
Oh, well, he's not that cool.
Oh.
But man, I would vote for him in the next election if he would just walk out to dun 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 just one time.
What election is that? The one coming up in November?
Yeah.
No, that's canceled.
Right? So yeah. Keeping people safe from a worldwide pandemic is not like being loaded onto cattle cars and gassed and stuff.
I agree. I think that the reaction from people that are resistant to this is ridiculously overdone. That said, I'm frustrated with this.
Oh, it's frustrating shit.
But this is what I'm frustrated with.
Especially the weird, like, okay, we're going to put out these rules that you guys have to go by. But, like, it seems really arbitrary and weird, like this is the rule on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
You have to park on this side of the street and wear a mask.
Right.
But
if you can take your mask off if you're standing on your one foot. Left foot. None of you right foot fucks.
That is true. That is exactly how it feels. But that's not really what I'm frustrated about. Though that is frustrating. But this is the point. In the beginning, when this all started, they told us.
I thought you were going to lay a sermon on me for a minute there.
I might. I've been listening to this biblical series by Jordan B. Peterson, and I did not think I would get into it, and I'm fucking so into it.
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I love it. It took me a long time to get. I didn't like his voice for a while, and I had a real hard time with it.
I struggled with him too.
You kept on like telling me.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he's a fucking douchebag. But goddamn, that guy is smart, and like I
don't think he's a douchebag.
I think he's a douchebag. But I listen to him because I'm like, God damn it, that's so fucking Like every once in a while, I'm
I
just
don't
like,
think
God,
he's a
he's so
douchebag.
fucking right.
What about him? What do you think makes him a douchebag?
You know what? Let me prepare for that. We'll cover that.
Okay.
We'll cover that in another show.
Okay.
Because there's a few there's a few shows that I've listened to quite a bit because I was very taken with him at first.
Yeah.
But then the more subjects I heard him cover, I was like, "You're a fucking dick."
I'm not
But-
saying that I agree with him on everything. And again, I'm listening to a biblical series, a podcast where it's a lecture series, but he goes deep dive into like the scriptures. Why am I listening to this? Because it's fucking incredibly interesting. So there that is. Okay, that's it. I'm not doing a sermon on you. When this all started, I felt like they told us that if we did our part, then they would do their part, and then things would be able to go back to some semblance of normal. For example, they said, like, we want everybody to like stay home. We want them to limit contact. We want you to da 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 da, and that went on for however long. And the point of doing that, right, was that we wanted to flatten the curve so that we didn't overwhelm our healthcare system. Correct?
And we did that here so far.
Right.
But we also caved into the fucking crybabies. I feel like.
What do you mean?
And not that just the crybabies. Some people have very legitimate reasons for needing to reopen and stuff. But I mean, I feel like we caved. And
But we definitely stayed shut down for that. But regardless of whether or not some places were open or whatever, we didn't overwhelm our healthcare system.
Yes.
So that was what the goal was. The only goal was to not overwhelm our healthcare system. We didn't overwhelm our healthcare system.
Thank you for your leadership, Governor Walz.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And I was totally on board with all of those precautions. But here's the deal: 70% of us are eventually going to get the coronavirus, is what they say, and that isn't. There's really just no way around that unless we come up with a vaccine, which seems very unlikely to get a vaccine in the time that's going to happen. I mean, it's possible.
They're testing a fucking spectacular vaccine.
And it's possible that might happen. But likely, and let's even just take the vaccine, because that wasn't the goal, though. The goal was not to shut everything down until a vaccine came out, because that seems unrealistic. I mean, 18 months. But the goal was to suppress the curve and to not overwhelm our healthcare system. And in the meantime, the healthcare, whatever, we're going to gear up and get all the testing and get all the PPE and get all that shit together. And all of that happened. And then, so now I'm frustrated because I feel like they asked us to do our part. And of course, not everybody did their part. I know Amanda Schwarzkopf, like when I made a post on Facebook about this, said, did you never leave the house during that time? No, fuck, of course, everybody does. But I did my best during that part. And I think most everybody else did too.
Well, I saw Amanda Schwarzkopf cough on some orphans.
Bitch coughed on orphans. But so my point is that I feel like we as Minnesotans did our part, and now I feel like we need to open back up. We need to let it go. And I do think that we need to take precautions. We need to continue to try to do social distancing. I'm okay with the fucking masks. They're annoying, but I'm okay with it. I honestly don't feel like I'm not convinced of the science behind the masks. It's gone all over the place. But it's likely that wearing a mask at least if you happen to have COVID, at least stops your spit from getting everywhere. So, it seems like the least you can do.
Well, and if you want to shut down, I know it's probably a painstaking process, and I don't know if this is a good idea. It's me, fucking whatever. I'm just throwing shit out there. Spitball, baby. Then maybe start with the bars that either cannot or refuse to comply. How about those guys get shut down then?
Right.
And, like, if you need to shut shit down, then and I know they're kind of doing that right now, but everything's like a fucking slap on the hand. Well, there are operators out there that are like, no, fuck it, not gonna do it.
Yeah, The thing is, though, is that, again, 70% of us are going to eventually get the coronavirus, unless, of course, there's a vaccine. And we haven't overwhelmed our healthcare system. So at what point does it just make sense for us to get the fucking... Like, I said last night, I was talking to somebody, and I said, honestly, if I knew somebody tested positive for the coronavirus, I'd go fucking make out with them right now and just get it done with. And then I'd quarantine myself. I'd do what I was supposed to do. But, man, just give me some tongue.
I was thinking about that, too. I'm like, what if I could just fucking get it and just hide out for 2 weeks?
If I could order it on Amazon and inject it, I would do that. So I mean, I'm really frustrated, and I'm really torn. And I also feel like I'm kind of being a traitor because I'm fucking speaking against my tribe in some ways.
See,
but it's like, and that should never even come into fucking consideration. Like that, but it's like, a lot of people that I respect and admire are on the other side of this issue. But I really think we did our part. It's time to put that to the test. And I don't think that they should shut down bars that aren't doing what I think that we should continue, and I think that we will as Minnesotans anyway, to practice as much social distancing as is reasonable. And I'm totally fine with the wearing of masks in the public places. It is weird, like coming into 9th Street, you wear a mask to come in. You sit down at the bar, you take your mask off. Because you're gonna have a drink, and you can legally. It's like you gotta go to the bathroom. You put your fucking mask back on. You get up to go to the bathroom. It's pretty arbitrary. Is that really doing
in a setting like that? But I mean, overall, and I've again on social media, I've read people like, what, how does that even fucking work? Because of body mechanics and shit, and the way you breathe, and how far, like when you're walking through a fucking room,
Sure.
I mean, like you're gonna breathe all over other people and shit like that.
But
but when you're seated,
but Kyle, they shut down all the bars for months and months. But you fucking telling me that Walmart was okay, or that like Home Depot was okay? Why?
Well, I'm just talking about the body mechanics of
right.
Fucking,
but even if a bar was not practicing any social distancing, not doing anything like that, and it's the amount of exposure that you're getting there compared to going to the grocery store, going to Home Depot, going to
well, see, I don't want to see anyone shut down. I just want everyone to take reasonable precautions.
Yeah.
And I mean but people will not, like big chunks of people are against taking reasonable precautions.
Oh, I agree.
And like you mentioned Walmart. So, they instituted that policy, with, keeping their customers and employees healthy in mind. I've got a buddy that is the loss prevention guy here at our local Walmart. So Monday, he got to stand out front and ask people to put masks on and stuff. And people told him that he should die and fucking shit like that. I mean, the people are getting fucking ridiculous about that and being real shitbags. Now, that being said, I also had a friend, like a friend of ours, posted on Facebook about going to the tire store the other day, and a guy like middle-aged dude came in and stood uncomfortably close to her. She was wearing a mask, and he was being cute, so he got up behind her and started coughing on her. And I'm like, man, I'd like to fuck that guy up.
Yeah. So, I've heard a lot of people talk about people not mask shaming, shaming people who are not wearing a mask, and we've been asking people to wear a mask, but the opposite, people being assholes to people wearing masks, I have actually started seeing that.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. I as far as I can tell, that's a lot more common.
I'm still waiting for it to come up.
At least in our area.
I'm still waiting for it to come up on me because I'm willing to fight.
Right?
I mean...
I will take this mask off long enough to whoop your fucking ass.
I will do it with my mask on, and I will not even muss up my beard.
But another friend of ours did get fucking accosted by a guy for not wearing a mask just over at the holiday station like yesterday. So I mean, there's fucking
but everybody's tribing
ridiculous
up.
Pricks on either side.
Yeah, just everybody's tribing up, and like fuck that. Like,
And is that the time? That's like, is that a sign of the times? Has it always been like that? Like, has everybody always been willing to tribe up over fucking everything at the drop, like at the drop of a fucking hat? You know, like who's better, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? Go fuck yourself. You want to fight about it? Like fucking, how about a revolution? I'm gonna shoot you. Fucking, it's ridiculous.
I don't think it's been this bad since we were tribes, because it makes sense to have a tribe. It makes sense to me.
Even the Civil War was nice. It was civil.
The Civil War was neither civil nor a war. Discuss. Yeah, it sucks. It does. But I am getting frustrated. I'm having a hard time seeing the logic of continuing to try to suppress it. Slow it, sure, but we can't suppress. I mean, we got to get it eventually, you know. And obviously, we need to protect the people who are most vulnerable, obviously, as much as possible. Though eventually, unless there's a vaccine, they're eventually going to get it too, or else everybody has to just live in isolation forever. And here's another thing that people don't take into consideration. And again, I'm not a fucking scientist, but I did stay at that Holiday Inn Express. But the thing about a virus is every time a virus it infects a new host, it gets a chance to mutate. And most of those mutations are non-beneficial, and the virus ends up dying out. But every once in a while, it'll be a beneficial mutation, and now all of a sudden that fucking virus can be worse and whatever. Okay, that's A, right? Number of people infected. But what people don't realize is that length of time is B, all right? So the longer that virus gets to have to mutate, the more chance of its mutation happening. So like Sweden, for example, they were like, fuck it, let's just let it buck and everybody gets it, and yes, a bunch of people died and maybe it wasn't the best choice, but the virus had a short amount of time to mutate in Sweden versus had a lot of subjects, so one part was good for it, but the other part was bad because it didn't get that long to mutate. I don't know. Fucking shit gives me a headache, bro.
Man, the virus itself, I try not to get mad at fucking at people that I think are fucking insensitive and dumb about it, but mostly I'm just fucking tired of the virus itself. Go away. I'm really excited about the possibility of vaccination of a vaccine. But even then, like if they fucking develop, then how long is it going to take to circulate?
You know what I'm looking forward to? You know what I am just so looking forward to is the fucking anti-vaxxers. Once they get a vaccine, that's going to be so fun.
Oh. Well, I'm already
putting
seeing
the
people...
microchip in, the fucking microchip in the vaccine. Oh my God, I'm just like, how goddamn dumb can you be?
But I'm already seeing people saying like, oh, not only will I not fucking wear a mask, I won't get vaccinated if there is a vaccine. I'm like, really? Good for you.
The thing is that what sucks about that is that, it's like, hopefully then they fucking die, right? But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Unfortunately, that person will more than likely live, but they will infect somebody who has an compromised immune system who can't get vaccinated and will die. I remember, and I don't like talking about it, but a long time ago, not that long ago actually, I knew this person who had a child who was dying of cancer, and it was very sad, and I fucking really don't want to go down that road. But I remember it was during the whole measles vaccination thing, and there were people who weren't vaccinating for the measles because they were anti-vaxxers, and she wrote a Facebook post that really fucking hit me hard about how I get it, you want to invoke your rights to not vaccinate, but you realize that you're endangering my fucking child who has cancer, and if she gets the measles, she's fucking dead. And it hit me hard, and I was like, oh, you selfish sons of bitches. And we're really in that
That was like
area.
8 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was right in that area. Yeah. I tried to blank it out. But, it's like that. It's a solid point. So unfortunately, Jackass who says, well, I ain't going to fucking get that vaccination. It's not vaccination, is it? That's what you give to dogs, right? Okay, whatever. Same thing.
We will hold you down and vaccinate you. If you want to take that out of your blood,
And
we'll give you a
what?
knife
At
and
the
you can take care of that
same
shit too.
time, we may as well just get them spayed and neutered. You know what I mean? Like it just a twofer.
That is a fucking spectacular
Oh my God!
idea.
We need to invest in a mobile veterinary clinic that will vaccinate, spade, and neuter for the coronavirus.
I'm Kyle Levinson, and I endorse this idea.
That's awesome. I want to talk about one quick thing, and then we got to take a break because I gotta pee.
Fair enough.
But I just I would. Have you ever seen the series Derek? Derek.
No.
Okay, it's on Netflix. 2 seasons. I hadn't thought about this show in forever, and it's one I missed on my best series of all times.
What?
Yeah, and I just forgot about it. And it's Ricky Gervais, and he plays this guy named Derek, who is like got something going on. He's like has some mental. He's slow. All right, yeah, and it's like such a weird show because you're like, ooh, are they gonna make fun of retarded people in this one, or what's going on here? And they don't. It's a fucking magical show. It's so good. It's a little sad, but it's short. There's only 14 episodes. It's 2 short seasons, and I absolutely highly recommend it. I can't remember exactly how it came up, but I know I was talking to my friend Carla, I think, at the bar, and we were talking about great shows, and Ricky Gervais came up, and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this, Derek. And I told her about it, and then she's like, oh my God, thank you so much for telling me about it. It's fucking awesome. And then Meta and I just started watching it again, and so I'm revisiting it. It's been probably 10 years.
I am always looking for new shit to watch, which I actually have a couple of things written down, but we'll get to that later.
It's wonderful. It is truly a wonderful show. Derek, and it's on Netflix. Yep. And it's it's like and it's all British, And at first, I am always like, I can't understand anything they're saying, but you get it. Like you kind of absorb it, and the characters are just fantastic. And yeah, I'm just really excited to share it with Meta because she hasn't got. And so I was like, it's really fun to like be able to share a show that was really important to you with somebody, but it's also a real blessing. God, I've been using weird words like that. It's this fucking Jordan B. Peterson. It's a real blessing because I have such a bad memory. I don't remember fucking anything about it other than loving it. So it's all a surprise. It's all new to me. So cool. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll talk about some more shit. Welcome back to Spitballing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Levinson.
God, it just feels good to say that.
Indeed.
So good.
Indeed.
So, what do you got on your list there, Bubba?
Well, let's see. I was going to touch on white privilege again, but I don't fucking feel like it. We talked about white privilege last time when we had Ace on the show.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, and I went back and listened to episode 6 again. And it's a fucking great episode there too, man. I'd like to. I just want to have that guy on all the time.
Right. We could go with the trope from like late night TV or whatever, and make him the leader of our band.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I mean, I'm sure he plays bass. I would just need to explain that reference. That's a reference from South Park, and when they were gonna do the Christian band, because Cartman wanted to get the myrrh, and he was like Tolkien, the black guy. His name is Tolkien, which is great. And he's like, "Come on, Tolkien, you're gonna play bass." And Tolkien's like, "I don't play bass." And he's like, "Come on, play bass." And he's like, "I don't play bass, dude." He's like, "Tolkien, play bass. And Token goes, down, bum, 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 bum. God damn it. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. I just watched a documentary. Actually, I had a really good conversation with Dave Badeau the other day. I've never said that before in my life. But I did. I had a really good conversation with him. And I think the mayorship is suiting that motherfucker. But we were talking about South Park for whatever reason, and he told me to watch this documentary called 6 Days to Air. And it was on YouTube, and it's fucking really good. It's really good. It's short, you know. But yeah, check it out. It's really funny. But it's about those fuckers. Okay.
So while I was thinking about white privilege, and I don't really want to talk about white privilege itself, I will just say, like I explained how I was mistaken about what it was.
You white-splained about how.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was mistaken about what it was. And then I just went out there and, I did a little reading. I talked to some people, and I found out what it was. That is, it doesn't mean that you were born into privilege, or it's not like the same as having a silver spoon in your mouth. It doesn't mean that your life wasn't hard. It just means that you didn't have the color of your skin working against you. Right. That's all it means. That's fucking harmless. But there's a lot of people out there that just won't fucking listen to that because it's willful ignorance. And they don't, or maybe it's not willful ignorance. Maybe some people just really, maybe they haven't heard that. Or maybe they don't accept that. But here's the thing about, I was thinking about that, and then I started thinking about all the things out there that people bag on because they don't get it.
Right.
It's fucking stupid. Not everything that you don't understand is stupid. All right? If there's something out there that you don't understand, it's on you to go fucking educate yourself and understand that. It doesn't make it stupid because you don't fucking get it. All right? It's not what is stupid. All right. So there is that, and I wanted to put that out there, and that's something that every fucking grown up knows, right? But it's something that we should all try to fucking keep in mind. I was talking to Mike Starry and another guy, and we accidentally had a really good conversation where I learned some shit.
Yeah,
the other day.
I learn shit from Mike all the time.
And it was, let's see, it was a Corey Villeneuve, which I don't know if that's okay. I hope that's okay with him. That
Who gives a fuck?
But
what are you gonna do, sue us?
Him and Mike, right? So and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, and they were coming from a totally different place as me than I was, but I asked some questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, see, look at that, and not gonna lie, I was proud of myself because a lot of times I catch myself feeling like, fuck you, I don't care what you say, but feeling like that is not the same as acting like that,
Right.
You should be able to think your way out, past that, and listen, and I hate, everybody thinks they're open-minded. I just don't even like, I don't even like to frame it like that. I don't consider myself open-minded. I'm pretty fucking, but maybe I am. I don't know. But I asked some questions, and another thing that was important was, they were kind of, they were in agreement,
right?
But they didn't use their numbers or anything. They didn't belittle me. They didn't fucking, treat me like an asshole. And they didn't fucking blow me off when I asked those questions.
Yeah, I really like Mike. I don't know Corey very well. I only know his Facebook presence, and he can be a fucking dick on Facebook.
I've seen him. I thought that I'd seen him be a dick before, but I wasn't sure because my memory's so shit.
He's definitely been a dick on Facebook. Okay. Yeah,
but in this instance, he was really fucking helpful.
Okay. Let me break something to you guys. Just because somebody's a dick on Facebook does not mean
he's not talking
that they're a dick necessarily. All right, you can your Facebook presence is not necessarily you. So I don't know Corey personally. Yes, sometimes he can be a fucking dick on Facebook. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a dick. Mike, on the other hand, I always find to be
a dick.
I always find him to be. He certainly can be.
Mike is fucking well spoken,
but he's also very intelligent and very open to really working through whatever the issue is, I almost always agree with him, even if I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with his position, but I understand why he has that position.
Yep. I might
and I'm
not
going
agree
to
with
vote
him
for
at the
that
end of it.
motherfucker for county commissioner,
Right.
and he's as far-ish from me politically, other than the fact that we both hate Trump. He's as far from me politically as I think you can get, but dude is, yeah. I'd like to have him back on and talk about the run. I also have a lot of fucking respect for somebody who is willing to put their money where their mouth is, I guess. Dude, I ran for fucking city council one time, a way long time ago, and it was really hard. It was a huge amount of work, and I didn't win. So I have a lot of respect for people who are willing to put their fucking hat in the ring and put their money where their mouth is, because it takes a huge amount of time and energy. And Mike makes a good living. He does not need to become a county commissioner. It's not something that he's doing because he'd like the whatever $400 a month stipend or whatever they get.
Speaking of putting your money where your mouth is,
Don't do that, because COVID did kill you right away.
There's a change shortage. People are fucking pissed about that whole
That's
no cash
fucking
thing.
weird too.
But Amanda, we mentioned earlier, put a thing on Facebook, and she's like, "Wind up with some extra money this month. Does anybody need anything?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Did you just out liberal me?
Yeah.
You fuck! God damn it! Now I've got a virtue signal all month to fucking make up all the ground that I lost to her putting that out there."
So, I gotta tell this story. So last night, Amanda was in the bar, and
It's drinking up all that money this year.
yeah,
Like, fuck all y'all.
that money
I
was
spent it.
The money was but
Making it rain, bitches.
another friend of mine, or actually, yeah, I'm gonna call him a friend. I really only know him from the bar, but that doesn't mean he's not a friend. He's a fucking great kid.
Oh.
His name is Nick Weeks, and he has a podcast called Lakes Happenings, and we just were talking about that, and he wants to have me on as a guest or us on as a guest or whatever. But he wants to do some back and forth, and I just super duper like the kid.
I connected with a podcaster that I just like kind of half-ass committed to a crossover at some point.
Hey, anytime, man. I'm always one. And but the kid just fucking cracks me up, but he really likes my mojitos, and I make a really badass mojito. I make a fucking awesome mojito, and Rob has this.
Matt, it's Mojito.
So that's funny. So he's like Rob has this amazing mint plant that he did not grow himself. He got it from this from the lady that does the flowers out front. She's great, but I'm super envious of his fucking
I
mint
just
plant.
had this visual of Rob out in his fucking like Mr. Miyagi garden and shit.
Dude, it's a tree. This fucking thing is amazing. And so I brought it in because Nick wanted a mojito, and he goes, "Oh, you brought in the mojito plant," and it just cracked me up because he kept calling it a mojito plant, which I thought was funny. Okay, but this is what I wanted to say about Amanda. They were talking, and she starts fucking telling old stories about me. And I'm like, geez, shut fucking, But she told the story about when I got into the fight with the guy in front of the Eclectic Cafe.
With the helmet on?
When I was wearing the motorcycle helmet. And it's funny because I've told that story. I don't know if I told it, but I've told it so many times, and people fucking don't believe it because it is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable story. And she and it was like, I'm like, God damn it, it's so good to actually have a witness to it. And she's like, I will give you a written testimonial to it. So it's pretty funny. And by the way, not today because we will end up talking for 5 hours. But we did get some feedback on Facebook that a couple of people want to hear some of our brawling stories, and I have plenty that I would share. So so one of these days we're gonna do that. The only thing about it is I gotta act some shit out. So we're gonna have to, like, I cannot tell the story without acting some shit out. So we're gonna need to wear I'm gonna need to wear the mic like that and do that whole thing. Okay, so we'll do that at some point. All right, that okay, that was it. But I just wanted to put a shout out to Nick, and we're definitely gonna do this Lakes Happenings.
I thought about that feedback that we got about the bar fights and stuff, and I was like going through like a list, and I'm like, also in the same bar, and then I'm like, Also in the same bar, because I was like, well, how many fucking bar fights have I been really like, off the clock? And you know what? After I thought about it, a lot.
Yeah, see, I well,
Fuck me.
I think I've only been in one actual bar.
And now,
fight.
like, the reason I'm kind of at that when I was like, ugh, because I'm like, wow, that's embarrassing. Because I'm not gonna lie, we're not talking about when I was 21. We're talking about when I was in my 30s and shit. Like, I'm a grown ass man. Like, that's fucking embarrassing. And when I think back, I'm like, well, was that really that cool? But I mean, usually it starts off with getting like sucker punched or some shit like that. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Most of mine were actually in my own coffee shop. When you're getting into a bar fight in a coffee shop, it's a rough. But yeah.
Fucking savages.
Yep.
Oh, fuck. All right. There we go. Just because something does. Yeah, we covered that. So, speaking of His Excellency, Grandmaster Badeau, I'm going to have him get a hold of somebody. So, there was a lady. She was talking about moving her. She posted on a local Facebook page, Brainerd Lakes area buy, sell, and exchange, and it was just just asking a couple of simple questions because she's thinking about moving her family up here, and she mentioned like coffee shops and stuff, and she also identified herself as a progressive. Well. You can imagine how well that went over amongst the human garbage. I'm not saying
she got a warm reception,
right? And I mean, like being a fucking conservative does not make you human garbage, but being one of the cunts that fucking like had to go off on her and be so fucking rude, well, that does make you human garbage, and you're fucking human garbage if you're one of those people. Go fuck yourself. But like there was a lot of people. Other progressives, conservatives, people that don't give a fuck, that were fucking pleasant and encouraging and wonderful. But there were a few people that were so fucking rude. I mean, just the kind of rude you don't even like. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was fucking embarrassing for the area. I'm like, how the fuck, like, where did they?
And I mean, this is coming from the town whose school board president believes we shouldn't teach science.
Someone actually mentioned that.
We shouldn't teach evolution because it's just a theory. It's just a theory. And we had a ridiculously
teachers with the scary blacks.
Yep.
Shit like that. We're always we get a fucking black eye all the time in the fucking media and shit. Because every time we make news, it's over some fucking embarrassing shit.
Kyle, you can't say black eye anymore.
Right. We get an African American eye. No, but yeah, it's just it was so fucking embarrassing for the area, and I'm just like, God damn it, So I posted a couple of things on there, and of course I took the high road. Or did I?
Well, I'll take the low.
But yeah, that was just shit, and I was fucking. I'm gonna have. When you mentioned Dave, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have Dave reach out and be like, hey, I'm the mayor. You'd love it here. I think it'd fucking be great,
Yeah.
Which he would do because Dave's a sweet guy. Other than that, all I've got left. Let's get back to my other stuff because all I've got left is like a couple of shows. Just some.
Okay, well, you want me to go back to mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, so one thing that I've had some extra time, and maybe some of you have been following my projects on. I don't know that I've even put my name online, but Peyton turned 18 a while ago, May something. I don't know his fucking birthday. It doesn't matter. And I wanted to make him a pair of shoes for his birthday, and I found this really cool. Concept. It's called a Scandinavian turn shoe, and it's really neat. You take I took his foot and then I wrapped his foot essentially in duct tape.
These are not wooden clogs, though.
You'll see. And so I wrapped him in duct tape and then cut the duct tape off and then make a pattern, whatever. So I have spent like literally hundreds of hours working on these fucking things, but I finally got them done. And then I haven't given them to him. I've had them for a couple of weeks now. But here they are.
Uh-huh. Well, shit.
Yeah, pretty fucking cool. So you actually sew the shoe inside out. So if you look on the inside, you can see that there's those stitches in there. Each one of those fucking things took me about 3 minutes.
His feet are not this tiny.
You know, okay, so that's another weird thing. So this is a perfect fit. So like the shoe doesn't have, there's no extra. So this is like a sock almost. So that's what his feet are. I hope they fucking fit him. But they will stretch because they're leather.
Is this narwhal tusk?
You know what?
It's
yes,
narwhal
it's
tusk.
definitely narwhal. I was gonna try to come up with something clever on the fly, but I couldn't. But yeah, so they're pretty cool. I'm gonna post some pictures of them. I just wanted to give them to him first because I didn't want him to whatever. And then the bottom's just rubber, but it's all leather.
This is human skin.
Pain in the fucking ass. But yeah, I really like how they turned out.
Yeah, they're
So that was
fucking
kinda
really
fun.
cool.
Yeah. Never do that again.
And the moral of our story is,
Once
fuck your feet.
once I learn how to do something, then I'm done. Done with
Cross it off the list.
Cross it off the list. Dunmire's.
Oh my god, dude. So, spectacular. Christine picked up some takeout from there a few days back because I've fallen off my diet, which is why I'm 783 pounds now. Fat as fuck. Not muscular at all. Just turning into a fucking piece of shit. She was worried about like how good it was going to be once it like made the drive up to Pequot.
Yeah,
which is 25 minutes or so from Chris's location, and everything was still lovely. But the other day we stopped in there for lunch because they have outside seating and stuff.
Yeah,
and
great
we were
outside seating.
Yeah. So we're out there like away from everybody else, like we managed to keep our distance from everyone, because Booboo was with us.
Yep.
So everyone was with it, like we're doing everything right. Man. So we ordered an appetizer and 2 entrees, and everything we ordered was fucking glorious.
Yeah.
Man.
So if you don't know, you can go back. I don't remember what episode it is. It's Chris Dunmire, Harambe, Abe Lincoln. Maybe not one of the best podcasts we ever did. We were kind of all over the place, and I didn't know Chris at the time. So it was my get to know him, and he showed up in a fucking monkey suit. So it was a little weird, okay? But it was a fun podcast. But
Chris is a fun guy, very well liked.
I've
very
since
popular.
come to really love the man,
Yeah.
And but at the time he was working on taking over the Y Club in Garrison, and he was, and I don't know exactly how that thing all fell apart, but it fucking fell apart hard, and he didn't really know what he was going to do, and then he decided he was going to buy the old Hassie's and open a new place that is
which is like
named Dunmire,
a restaurant that he'd already like kind of rejuvenated and turned around,
and actually had kind of had a little, and I don't know exactly, but he had a little ownership stake in that apparently, and then they sold it, and then that so now he's kind of coming back home to the place he's already, because then the next people that bought it, like, oh my god, it was fucking horrible.
But now he breathed life into it again.
Yeah, so this is a place that's kind of, if you're not from the area, it's kind of like right out by the airport, and it's a really cool old building. It's been a restaurant from, I remember
Our whole
when
lives.
I was a kid, I was good friends with Tim Hassie, and he was from the original Hassie family. He was like the grandson, so I think it's been around forever. And we used to always steal booze from there when we were kids, so sorry about that if you guys are out there. And Hassie's was like was a fucking icon to the area. It used to have like
The Hassie Burger.
the Hassie Burger, which was like
But
this
they had
fucking
the
ginormous thing,
huge burger challenge.
and Shotgun Red. Remember Shotgun Red was like it was in the Hassie's fucking weird puppet thing, country music sensation puppet thing. So this fucking place had been around forever, and then after Hassie's, it kind of went through a cycle of a bunch of different things, and it never really found its niche again. And that's a common thing with restaurants. Like, you'll have a restaurant that'll fail in a location kind of over and over again, and people always want to say that's just a bad location, it can't work there. And that is that is such fucking bullshit. Ask PJ Severson, right?
Right.
I hate to put myself on that list of failed businesses in that location, but you know the 218 was a place that used to be Choppers, was pretty successful as Choppers, and then went through a bunch of different places, including my own Sunshine Kitchen, which I wouldn't say was a complete failure. It was there for, you know, whatever, 4 fucking years, so whatever.
And we have fond memories.
It was great, but you know, people used to tell me all the time, like, this is a horrible location. I'm like, no. It's not a fucking horrible location.
I always thought it was a horrible location. I also worked, and I worked, you know, I worked the door for you a few times and stuff. Hung out there, loved that place.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was a horrible location. I worked at the old Hassie's when it was a Maddie's for a while there.
Yeah.
Thought it was a horrible location. We couldn't do anything right. Didn't last very long at all. But fuck,
it's not a horrible location.
No. There are no horrible locations.
So Chris goes in and he buys the Hassie's building, totally fucking revamps it. It looks wonderful inside.
It looks great.
And then and the place, it's out of town, so they're able to have tons of outdoor seating. They got a volleyball net out back. They got some fucking horseshoes and
some
shit.
Bands out there and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he just did a fantastic job with it.
Although Chris is killing himself working in that place.
He's
fucking
gonna
there
have to
all the time.
And they're open 7 fucking days a week too. I'm like, dude, you are. I know from personal experience, you can only work 90 hours a week for about 3 years before your soul gets sucked out of your body. So he's gonna have to, but he'll figure it out. He's super smart and he's done this before. He knows what it takes to get it in. So Meta and I went out there on their soft open. So they put it out on Facebook, whatever. It was a torrential fucking downpour. It was like that day where, I mean, everything flooded, and we were out there during the torrential downpour, and it was raining on our table. No big deal. And actually, I talked to Chris a little bit about how to fix that and whatever, which has now become our table. Like, we have been there. Whenever we go there, we sit at the exact same table. The ceiling has been fixed. The food is fucking absolutely fantastic. It's not like highbrow. It's not like fucking Le Filet Mignon, whatever. Though they do a prime rib. But it's just all really, really good. My favorite thing I've had so far, and it's dumb, it's Chris's chips. And he makes these fucking kettle chips from scratch, slices the fucking potatoes up, fries them, and then he puts this cheese sauce that they make in house that he said that they were going through 5 gallons a day of this shit. And then just some nice fresh jalapenos on top, and I literally could just inject it. It's so fucking good. But I've yet to have anything out there I didn't really love. Their tater tot hot dish though.
Everybody keeps saying the same thing. Haven't had anything out there.
No, I haven't had anything
crazy.
I haven't had anything that I wasn't just. I wasn't like never. Nope. Their tater tot hot dish, and I'm a tater tot hot dish snob. I really am. It's the best.
It's very Minnesotan of us, but I know. The same way.
I am. I love the tater tot hot dish out at the Wings Cafe. They have it on Wednesdays.
You told me that was good.
It's really great, but you got to go. It's a Wednesdays special. But Christmas was even better than that. It's really bomb, and I fucking hate cornbread. Do you like cornbread?
I do love cornbread, but Chris has that. It's like cake.
It's fucking amazing. You don't like it because it's not cornbready, or what?
Well, I love it, but I don't love it like the same way that I love regular cornbread.
Okay, so we talked a lot.
I love everything that I've had
because I hate cornbread. I think it's like disgusting. And then I get this big fucking thing of cornbread, and I was like, man, somebody else can have this. And then I tasted it, and I was like, get the fuck away from my cornbread. It's so good, but it's a dessert almost. It's like this, and then it's with this fucking honey whipped butter shit. Oh, dude, it's so good. So I have so I put a post on Facebook about how much I love the place, and Amanda Schwarzkopf. I don't know why she's coming up so much in this episode. She mentioned she said on there.
We're just gonna write her in as our guest.
Yeah, we'll just put her in as guest. I'll tag her. She said, "Ooh, are you guys getting married? Do the other? No, what did she say? She just said, do the other restaurants in the area? You're taking this pretty seriously. Do the other restaurants in the area have to be worried?" And I said, "Listen, I'm not going to put a ring on it, but I think we're going steady." And we've been out there a ridiculous amount. And so then the other day, Meta said, "Hey, you want to go out to Wings?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'd love to go to Wings," which is another restaurant that I absolutely love. And I said, "But how are we going to get past Dunmire's?" And she's like, "Ha ha ha, yeah." Ha, ha. And she's driving, and she fucking puts her blinker on to turn into Dunmire's. Like, and then I was like, "This ain't Wings." And she goes, "Oh shit!" And then pulls back out. Like, she literally just like went there, out of habit. Homing instinct, exactly. So I talked to Chris, and I'd love to have him back on the show because there's a ton of stuff I'd really like to talk to him about now.
I gotta stop out there and see him when we get done here.
Just a tidbit busy right now, so it might be a little while before we get to have him back on. But yeah. So Chris, if you do watch this, which maybe you'll listen while you're in the kitchen at 5 a.m. prepping, dude, you gotta fucking figure that out. You can't have that many hours. But I mean, I'm just proud as fuck for you, and I just hope that you can figure out how not to like let your soul get sucked out of your body. So, but yeah, and even if you do, you got to just become my personal chef. Because
he's got that fucking that amazing fucking positive outlook and shit. Like Chris is just a spectacular guy, man.
And every time I've gone out there, or every time we've gone out there, he's come out to the table and said hi.
Yep.
Which is just great, and I don't expect that at all.
No, he's busy. He's
busy
look
as
how
fuck.
fucking busy he is.
But he makes that effort.
Yeah.
And then the first time we went out there, he messaged me afterward and said, "Hey man, I really appreciate coming out." And it was their soft opening. I mean, nobody knew. It wasn't super busy because it was their soft opening. And I messaged him back and I said, "Dude, I fucking love the food, but I'm telling you, if I keep eating like this, I'm gonna have to start worrying about the fucking Hackensack hillbillies, spearing me for my blubber. This is not okay, dude." So yeah, good for him.
Fuck yeah.
So speaking of getting fat, I'm not doing all right. But I how do I want to say this? So
you got back in the gym.
I got back in the gym last week. First time back in the gym in a very long time. So here's the deal. Start BJJ, which is Brock's Start BJJ Minnesota, and that's a national organization, and they have gyms all over the place. Had a satellite in Brainerd at Ultimate Martial Arts, and during the COVID and the shutdown and everything like that, Rob Nelson, who owns Ultimate Martial Arts, decided that he kind of wanted to be done with owning a big old fucking building in Baxter, and he was kind of looking for some alternatives, and he ended up going and talking to the guys at Takedown. And I don't know exactly what kind of arrangement he made with them, but now he is over at Takedown teaching his karate. And Brock came up and met with them and figured out that this is going to be a good fit for us. So Start BJJ is now partnered with Takedown Gym. We talked about Takedown a little bit ago. That's where you recently got a membership.
Yeah.
And then stopped working out.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's such an attractive option for me because they have daycare.
Yes.
But now
it's tough
can't take
because
a kid with autoimmune.
I know. I just mentioned that we should just do the podcast there so we could just have Booboo in daycare, and then you were like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But as we talked, when you told me about how great the fucking gym was in that episode, I was like, I didn't think you were full of shit, but it seemed like you were telling me a little fairy tale. It's not a fucking fairy tale, guys. This is
beautiful.
Fucking, I can't believe there's something like this
in Brainerd.
State of the art is an understatement.
Yeah.
Like, it is huge. It is fucking beautiful. It is extremely clean, and it has everything.
Yes.
It has everything.
Do you see how many heavy bags they got there?
So I was like, I did the entire tour, and they have this room, which like is kind of a multi-purpose room. It has mirrors. It has those things along it so you can like do ballet or whatever, and a matted floor. But then it also has this humongous like industrial fucking like like track along the ceiling, and you fucking grab this like little string and pull out this line of fucking heavy bags, and it's just beautiful. And the jiu-jitsu room is just fucking great. It's huge. It's got a fence on one side of it. It's great. I did after I signed the paperwork and stuff, I messaged Brock and I said, my gym's nicer than your gym. And so it's fucking great. And then also they have such a bunch of other like really awesome features. One of them is that every room has this fucking air purification system, which they had from day one. All right. But what it does is it sucks all the air in the room into this like thing and then shoots it with magic and then lets it come back out and like cleans the air. And they're using it's like ultraviolet or whatever. This stuff is state of the art, like shit that all the gyms now are trying to scramble for. Well, these fucking guys have had it since day one. You know what I mean? It's great. They have professional cleaning crew that comes in every night and like completely like sanitizes everything. I'm just absolutely excited about it. So, and then also on top of that, there's fucking daycare, right? So you can come in and you can put your kid in daycare and then go train. That's amazing. I've never, like most gyms that I've worked in have had a TV in the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was daycare. We also provide daycare.
And the ladies that work in that daycare are
really awesome.
Wonderful.
So, of course, we're in the COVID, right? So the whole place has been, they were shut down for quite a while, and now it's just starting to be able to be reopened, and they're taking all of the precautions and mandates, very, very seriously. So unfortunately, right now, the classes for BJJ are just Monday nights at 6:15 with Jay Gould, who is a black belt, who lives in St. Cloud, trains with Brock. Badass motherfucker. God, he hurts me. He's one of the only guys I duck, actually.
Well, all I ever hear about is what a badass Jake is.
Jay's like a tiny guy too. I mean, he's like 2 inches shorter than me, and so like it pisses me off because I have no excuse why he just like beats the piss out of me, but he's just so good. But he's one of the only guys I duck, and the reason is because my shoulders ain't very good, and he is particularly good at doing omoplatas, and it just wrecks my fucking shoulders, and I'm like, Jay, I just can't do it with you, man. You'll kill me. But he's awesome.
Fucking shoulders.
And then on Wednesday, I teach at 6:15. The classes sizes are limited. We have to do all the social distancing and all that kind of stuff. But once we are finally able to do it more, there's going to be classes, many more classes, and we're going to start doing kids class and so on and so forth. The daycare is very limited right now, again because of COVID. But as we start to be able to open up a little more, we're going to open up. But here's the fucking super cool part about it: you get a basic membership. What are you paying? Like $50 bucks a month, or you got a family one? But if you're just a single guy, $50 a month. Okay, so for that. And don't take this for gospel because I don't actually know. But go on their fucking websites, Takedown Gym.
It seems like it should be this way.
But it's right in that area. Well, no gym I've ever seen I've never known a gym membership that works this way. So for that amount of money, you have complete access to the place. If you want to go in and work out and you want to put your kid in daycare, all part of the package, right?
Yep.
Totally unheard of. Then, on top of that, you get 4 classes a month. So you want to come to jiu-jitsu every Wednesday night? Boom. It's just included in your basic membership. But then let's say you want to just go roll with your other buddy that has a membership there. Fuck, that's cool too. You just come in, you can go in like any room that's not being used. You can go into the wrestling room, you can roll, you can do whatever you want. Like that's amazing because every gym I've ever worked in, like the only times you can ever go there is when there's a class going on. So it's like because or else the doors are locked and nobody's there, the lights are off, you know what I mean? And that's a really huge opportunity because so many of the guys that I train with, they always want to get together and roll with people, but they just don't have any space to do it. So that's super cool. And then if you want so that's your basic membership, and then if you want to like have another class, it's just $10. If you're already a member, it's just $10 for another membership or for another a class, or you can just get a bigger membership, and you can get like an unlimited membership. I think for an individual, it's like an $120 range, which is just slightly more expensive than we used to charge at UMA. But that means you can do whatever. You can go to every class you want to go to.
Beautiful cardio theater, fucking all their whole setup. It's
spin class.
The weight room is huge.
Yoga. The weight room is state of the art.
I'm not gonna lie, my one bitch about that place, motherfuckers need to practice some weight room etiquette.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck a weight room etiquette is.
Well, you get that with a bunch of fucking like neophytes that don't know what the fuck. Yeah, they leave their shit fucking like lay around, and they don't know how to put their weights away and shit like that. It drives me fucking crazy.
Oh, well, talk to him, John. Will, that and the other nice thing about it is, and I don't know all about the history of like how it came about, but I do really want to try to have John, who's the general manager, or I believe Sean is the owner. I would like to have him as guest sometime.
Joe's the manager.
John. That's I'm pretty sure it's John.
Joe.
Could be Joe. Might be John. Whatever. That guy.
What's the difference between Joe and John? A couple of letters, whatever.
John. Anyway, they let's just say that they don't spare any expense. Is that fair to say?
It's fancy.
It's fancy as fuck.
Oh,
and he's like,
fancy.
if you want anything, you just let me know what you need, and we'll have it. Yeah. Because we didn't have a time clock. And I was like, I'm gonna need a time clock. And he's like, well, no problem. So it's pretty fucking awesome. So I'm super super stoked about it. And so last Thursday was my Wednesday. Last Wednesday was my first class. I haven't trained at all. Nothing. Done nothing. Like I haven't picked anything up even. Like not even like a sock off the floor. I mean, it's been COVID. I've done nothing. And boy, if you haven't done any jiu-jitsu in like 3-4 months, and then you go in and do jiu-jitsu, fuck, it hurts.
Dude, any shit, like a 20-minute bag workout. It's just 20 minutes.
Right.
Fuck.
Well, those kill me anyway because I don't typically do those. So, like, when I was getting ready for my fight, I was like, I can't believe how much it hurts to fucking like punch stuff, mate. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I was. I mean, I felt good. I did all right. I didn't. I did remember how to tie my belt, and I also remembered how to tap. So that's that. So I remember those two things. That were great. But yeah, I felt good. And then I was pretty fucking sore afterward. But that'll happen. I'll get back into it. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I am just. I'm fucking blessed.
That's a good setup. I can't wait to get back to the gym.
I can't wait to. And now, guess what? You got 4 classes a month, bitch.
Right.
And guess what you need to do?
Well, Christine uses mine when she goes to classes, but
I
think you need to do some jiu-jitsu. I feel like I can take up jiu-jitsu after I get my fucking shoulder surgery. I was told
definitely, because then we will wreck that shoulder.
Well, I was told that I can't go back to lifting weights for 6 months.
Oh,
after
you're gonna
I
have
get
to
my
do
fucking
something.
surgery. Well, yeah, I gotta. Well, I mean, I can still do cardio and shit. Like I can still do cardio and do legs.
Cardio is like the most boring thing in the world to do.
Fuck yeah! But you know what I do when I'm doing cardio?
Listen to podcasts.
Spitballing.
We need to do longer ones then.
Much longer.
So, and then I only have one other thing on my list, and that is my fucking scooter. So, like, Meta and I both have scooters. I bought hers for, when was it for? Our anniversary or? Well, I don't remember. I think it was our anniversary. And I had one, and like we have these two, they're little 50cc scooters, and I just love mine. It's really cool looking, and she loves hers. And but mine has never really run all that good. Like it had an issue. Like every time I drive any length of time, 20 minutes or so, it start to run really rough. Well, come to find out, they apparently from the factory, the head, they put the fucking spark plug in a little bit goofy, and it shot out the side of the motor a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and yeah, it's fucked. And I was really, really fucking bummed out. Like, I'm like, I mean, I can't believe how fucking emotionally distraught I was to not be able to ride my scoot. And Meta would be like,
ride
Meta would be
to
like,
live to ride.
yeah. Meta's like, well, you could just take mine. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. We had to ride. We went to her mom's house the other day, and she took her scooter, and I took the little fucking pink one. I was like, I'm not riding, bitch. I rode the little pink. The kids got little battery ones, and yeah, there's a spitballing post of me and Kyle riding around it. Anyway, so I brought it to this guy called, and I just wanted to do a shout. It's Stan's Small Engine Repair, and they're on the way to Nisswa. It's a dad and son team, just super fucking nice guys. It's a pretty new place. They just opened up this season or whatever, but man, they really took the time, and this is a fucking great job. I ended up having to order a new head. It was only like $24 to get the new head or something like that. It has a little piece of aluminum. Yeah, got it on Amazon, and they just got it all patched back together. And I just got that fucking thing going on Friday, and I just been in fucking hog heaven. So, so every one of you, including Kyle and Christine, gotta get yourself a 50cc or less scooter, and then you can maybe be in our scooter gang if Tony Power says it's okay. It's Satan's Unicorns, very, very tough scooter gang. Yeah, it's all 50cc or less. So
all 1%ers.
It's amazing how much joy I get from just scooting around, and like, I kind of took it for granted because I've had a scooter for a few years, and it's just, whatever. Oh, and then I was going to say, I realize now my scooter never fucking ran good at all because it runs fucking great now. I'm like, it starts.
So can you beat Meta in a race yet?
No, she's still a little bit faster than me, but only a little bit compared to like, oh
just
my God.
Your doors
One
off.
day we were driving somewhere and my scooter was just running like shit. And fucking Eric Anderson pulls up beside me on the highway, and he's got his phone.
Yes.
He's got his phone out, and he goes, and he rolls down his window and he yells at me. He goes, "I'm watching spitballing," as he's riding down the road. And I was like, "Watch the road, Dick. I'm fucking on a scooter." I go, blah, blah, blah. And then he posts on Facebook. He makes some posts on Facebook about how he got to see me riding my scooter down the road. Trailing Meta by a couple 100 yards, and I was like, "Fuck you, you dick! It doesn't run right." So, but no, her scooter is just zippy. It's just a zippy little fucker. It just runs great. But at least I'm not like sucking her tailpipe anymore. So, yeah,
that comes later.
That's it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah,
do you want to talk about any of those shows?
Things. Yeah, just a couple of quick things. So HBO has a new series. Remember Perry Mason?
Yeah, talking to Dave Badeau about it. He said it's fucking awesome.
It's fucking really cool, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really like, I'm fucking loving it. Now, if you're, don't be expecting fucking old school Perry Mason because it's raw as shit.
But it's very noir, right?
Yes,
Which is like
so.
like 20th style.
Which is kind of a trend now. They did the same thing with Penny Dreadful.
Yeah, I fucking didn't like that.
That sucked.
I tried, but yeah.
I was okay with the first one, but just okay.
Like the first season?
But then the spin-off.
Oh.
Well, they made a spin-off that was a noir.
I made it through the first season at Penny Dreadful, and I was like, I'm good.
But so that.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because I've been looking for something that I can watch by myself.
Yeah. See, I went up in the same boat.
I tried Space Force. Have you seen that?
I'm still trying that. I'll still get back to it a little bit because it's funny.
There are some parts of
it
it that are so funny.
I'm good at watching comedies by myself.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But I thought I could handle it because it has Steve Carell. And
see, if we were neighbors, we could watch stuff together.
Yes, that's true.
We could get the Norseman, that comedy. It's on Netflix or whatever. Apparently, it's very funny. But I haven't. Again, I can't watch comedies by myself.
I was watching it the other night, and I like really fucking busted up laughing, and I actually have thought about it since then and keep busting up laughing. But it's the only thing that struck me as funny in it, and it was so Steve Carell's like the leader of the Space Force, and his daughter, whatever, and his dad is kind of like losing it, and his dad calls his daughter, so his granddaughter, and he's like, "Oh, hey, honey, I'm glad to hear you. got back from, like Nigeria. And she's like, I didn't go anywhere, Grandpa. And he goes, oh, sure you did. Yeah, I sent that money off to them. And she goes, Grandpa, you gotta stop falling for these scams. And he's like, oh yeah, well they were gonna chop your head off, so I figured I better just send it to him. And she's like, oh, Grandpa, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send you an email with a link of like how to like avoid. Oh no, I don't open any emails. And it's the same guy who was in Best in Show. And he was always talking about the Shih Tzu. No, is that a Shih Tzu? It's just, I don't know. It fucking cracked me up, and I just can't. I keep laughing about it. It's pretty funny.
Like that show, like it had a lot of promise. There was lots of funny parts in it, but just I feel like if I, whoa, sorry about that. I feel like if I would have watched it, like if Christine would have been into it, or if Gordy would have been into it or something, it would have been a lot better for me. But I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah. I didn't. I'm probably not going to get to the
John Malkovich is in it.
Yeah, John Malkovich is great in it too. Actually, everything is great about it. It's just didn't capture my interest. Yeah. But yeah, enough talking about a show we didn't like.
Right. So I have to thank you for cluing me in. I thought that when Ray Donovan killed himself. That's when I stopped watching the show.
Don't wreck anything because I still have a season to go.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, 2 seasons. Well, okay. So there's 2 seasons after that. And I thought the show was done. I thought it was over. I didn't realize there were 2 seasons. The show that I've watched since it was new. I've been watching the show for fucking years, and there was 2 seasons that I hadn't watched.
So that happened to me with True Blood. Did I tell you this? Yeah. So I swear to God, I watched all of True Blood, and the last episode I watched was when fucking Eric Northman died. I just thought Eric Northman died, and then. I mean, this is a spoiler alert for a 10-year-old show. Fucking watch it. And we're watching it, and I was like, oh, and I was like, there's a whole nother fucking season? And so there was a whole I think it should have ended with Eric dying. Actually, it was a good ending. The last season kind of sucked ass. But
I found that a lot. But Ray Donovan, the last 2 seasons were
good,
awesome.
So I'm going to have to, well, fuck it. The thing is that's on Showtime, so I'm just going to have to fucking get Showtime.
But is it only on Showtime?
Well, like the new seasons are, yeah.
But I mean, you only have to get Showtime for a month,
Yeah, but
$12 or whatever.
You know me, like if I get Showtime,
yeah, you're just gonna have it.
Showtime.
Might as well get a Showtime tattoo on you,
right?
So yeah, thank you for that. And
yeah,
lastly,
I'm glad to know that the last season was good.
They're really good. I was actually pissed off that they canceled it because I'm like, really, this is where we're going to
It ended, right? It didn't.
It's over. Yeah.
No, but it ended. It didn't just. It wasn't.
No,
like,
it's done. Yeah, they wrapped it up.
They wrapped it up. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, thank God.
So I'd forgotten about this movie. The Interview.
God, I don't have anything.
So when they made this movie, it was Seth Rogen and James Franco. Great combination.
Is it the one? Is it about North Korea?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen it.
So yeah, I mean, because like you could only watch it on like on YouTube or whatever, because like they got shut down or whatever, because North Korea was pissed off and stuff.
Yeah, and North Korea like hacked.
Well,
hacked something, hacked app. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
And so I'd forgotten all about this. And never really been that curious, but I would have watched it had it been like out at a normal release. So I'm scrolling.
I think it's a good thing. Screwing around and scrolling at the same time. Scrolling
mostly. And it's a PG show, but I'm on Hulu, and I see that fucking show, and I'm like, is this any good?
Is it good?
It's fucking wonderful.
Really?
It's so goddamn funny.
I don't remember hearing anything about it. I remember hearing more about North Korea being all pissed off about it than I did about the show.
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's not. I mean, yes, it's not easy to see why Kim Jong-un was probably pissed off, but it is fucking.
So
it's hilarious.
They pulled their punches. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, no, it's so goddamn funny, and it's very quotable. A lot of good lines in there.
Huh.
You got to see that.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Huh. I think you can actually still watch it on YouTube.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put it out there on YouTube, be like after that you're kind of butt fucked,
Yeah.
oh, now we're gonna,
Well, that was like the whole thing. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll do some research about that. And I'll watch it and I'll get back to you. So I've been hearing about The Watchmen. You love that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that show is awesome. Like I wasn't in love with the movie.
I've never even seen the movie. I was just listening to a podcast and they were talking about how The Watchmen really did a good job talking about Black Wall Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, The Watchmen? What the fuck are we talking about? Isn't that a show about superheroes? And then I looked it up again and I was like, oh, that's the one that Kyle was talking about.
Yeah, because that show I think the very beginning. I think the show starts out in Tulsa during that massacre.
Yeah, I didn't know much about Black Wall Street Massacre.
Yeah, oddly enough, they don't talk about much.
Weird, right?
They don't really talk about it in history around like in regular history class. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there was that line in that video.
Unless I was gone that day.
In that video clip that I played when Ace was here, and she's like, "And you bombed us in Tulsa," and I was like, well, I didn't get the reference, but I was like, there's a whole shit about like Black history I don't know, obviously.
See, the only thing about The Watchmen is like the series, they jump around a lot and shit, and it's kind of confusing until they bring it all home. And like you're supposed to be like a little off balance
I'm okay
and confused.
with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that as long as they.
Not everything has to be fucking perfectly linear and like spoon feed you like what's going on.
I mean, it's one of the things I liked most about Breaking Bad. I know you didn't care for that show, but I like Breaking Bad. Like, is kind of famous for its fucked up timeline because you are like, where the fuck are we now? And yeah, it's very interesting the way they Breaking Bad it. I call it Breaking Bad.
Well, and like another thing, like Dr. Manhattan doesn't experience time the way we do. Like time is not like linear; it's just like kind of all over the place. And he's a main character in there and stuff.
Cool. Well, I'll watch it. That's on my list too. Are you an Ozark fan?
Fuck, I love that show.
Did you watch the third season?
I love that show.
See, but you didn't like Breaking Bad. Mm-mm. See, I felt like that was just a very.
Maybe I should try Breaking Bad again.
Well, if you didn't, you said you gave it a good try and you didn't
seasons.
like it. Yeah, fuck it. If you didn't like it, then you're not gonna like it. Because you gotta. I mean, I got hooked right away. But Meta and I just finished Ozark, and I won't do any spoilers because it's pretty new. But it's a show where there's no good people.
Right? And
there's nobody that's good.
No. Definitely everything's shades of gray. The protagonist is a criminal, you know, like and kind of a douche. Yeah. Like
everybody kind of.
It's like all self-interest driven,
which is
like
human. That's it. I mean, very good job. I really like it. I think I like it. And it made me feel very good. I told Meta after I got done, I said, "Oh, I'm glad we're done with that. It's not nearly as sexy as True Blood."
Fair.
Yeah, you get done with the episode, then you're crying.
And I think, let's see, I think in September. The boys will do that.
Yeah. I saw that there was a preview, but I refused to watch it.
That's right. You hate those.
Oh fuck yeah, I hate them.
I've started there's a lot. That's good. There's now I'm fucking yammering like a fucking idiot. So I've taken up stopping previews. Like if I do watch a preview, as soon as I
decide you're gonna watch it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Done.
I do the same thing. I say like if we're gonna watch a movie and I've not seen a preview, I'm like, and I'll be like, hey, let's check out this, and then as soon as I decide I want to watch it, I'll stop it, and then Meta gets pissed. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, you can continue to watch it if you want, but I decided I'm gonna watch it, so now I gotta leave the room.
I did that with Midway because I just watched Midway recently, and
did you watch the one with Tom Hanks? I can't remember what it's called. It's on Apple TV. You have Apple TV now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just came out. It's about oh fuck! I wish I could remember what it's called. I listened to an interview with him on Dan Carlin, but it's a World War II Navy battle thing. I guess it's fucking awesome. But Tom Hanks got a little famous because so nobody fucking knows about it because it's on Apple TV. and this was a major theatrical, production, and they said, like, I don't know exactly, but like he didn't realize it was only going to be released on Apple TV, and he basically said something like, "Oh, great! I'm glad we put all that time and energy into a movie that nobody's going to fucking watch because it's only on Apple TV." They didn't like that very much.
Damn.
But I guess it's doing pretty good. But I fucking hear it is absolutely awesome.
Well, I'm gonna fucking check that out then, because I basically haven't been back on Apple TV since I watched that garbage Jason Momoa show.
Yeah,
Did you ever watch that?
No, I'm not gonna watch that stupid thing. You didn't finish. You didn't. Did you watch? You did watch all of the morning show.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
That show was fucking great. I did not finish the space show.
I didn't either. It's fucking boring. It's really well done, and the first like couple of episodes were really engaging. Now I'm just like, I don't care if they all die. Yeah, I don't fucking care if they all die.
Yeah.
Give me some aliens.
Yeah, right? Probe those motherfucking astronauts.
Oh, dude, did you hear about that? The aliens thing?
I've been seeing a lot of shit on like social media about. I mean, I've seen like they
sister
declassified some stuff.
Yeah, my sister put a post out, and then I went down the rabbit hole, and I read the New York Times article that she referenced but couldn't post to.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Donald Trump's a fucking alien.
Apparently, the Pentagon has like admitted and released some information about unidentified flying objects. They supposedly have some materials that they have recovered from some crashes, and like this is, and we're not talking about 1950s Area 51. I mean, this is like a current, heavily funded, fucking section of the Pentagon.
MIBs.
Very interesting. I don't want to get into it now, but I got a pretty fucking hardcore theory about it.
Nice.
I do not believe that there are aliens. I don't believe that anybody from any other planet has ever come to this Earth. But I also think there's something out there. So we'll talk about that at some other time. I really need to prepare for it because I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot. I will sound like an idiot.
I was going to say, it's kind of what we do.
When you lead with something like that, you're probably going to come off sounding like an idiot. No, I'd like to, if I'm going to say, if I'm going to reference authors and so on and so forth, I want to do it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I've been getting into doing some research about the CIA and all of their crazy. I read that book Chaos a while ago. I told you about Marilyn, about Charlie Manson. Well, I just reread it, and I when I say that, I mean listen to it. And then I was like, God, I want to learn more about this, about the MK Ultra and shit. Do you ever see the movie Men Who Stare at Goats or whatever it was?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, dude.
I love that
It's
movie.
pretty much exactly that. That fucking movie was like true. Some of the fucking crazy shit that the CIA funded.
Astral projection and shit like that.
But I'm listening to this one now that's by
Dude, that movie has the one of the best endings that I've ever seen.
I don't think I made it through it.
Oh.
But I'm going to have to go back now because I realize it's true. Like some of the crazy shit that the CIA funded. But then the other crazy shit is some of the shit that they did that was successful that like is like complete. Dude, it's pretty fucking out there, man. The truth is out there.
I want to believe.
I'm going down a conspiracy theory. Cool. So, I don't know when we'll be back. I wanted to just say this too. Obviously, it's not always possible for us to do this every weekend, and I don't ever want this to feel like a fucking obligation, and I don't want it to ever feel like an obligation. Yeah. I enjoy my time doing this. It's the most rewarding thing I think that I get to do.
And when we and sometimes just like a lot of things that you really enjoy,
right?
If you
right.
It's like beating my meat in a way. No, but like if you don't, if we go a few weeks, then I appreciate it so much more when we do, And I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to be able to do one every week. But.
And if we're making time for it, then it may become something less than it can be with, whatever. So, So bear with us, and if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. That's all there is to it. I mean, we'll put an episode out when we get to it. That's it.
But we are flattered that you ask. I mean, I love that.
I do too.
I mean, both of you people that watch. Yeah, it's fucking great. And we've got a lot of ideas. We got stuff coming down the pike. Crossover episodes, interesting guests. Just right now is a weird time. Speaking of that weird time, just to bring it home a little bit. When you're dealing with people that won't wear masks, or if you are tempted to fuck with somebody that is wearing a mask because they care about people, can we just not be assholes to each other? I mean, I know that sounds hypocritical as fuck because I spend a lot of my time being an asshole.
Yeah, that would be.
But can you guys at least just be nice to me? I want to be nice to people. Sometimes I just fucking fail at it. But so be excellent to each other.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And party on, dudes.
I'm not
really, because I loved them both.
Well, they were a fun age for us, like right in there, like
I don't know.
I didn't
after the show with Keanu Reeves, where he played Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
I think I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Always Be My Maybe.
Always Be My Maybe. I'm like,
that fucking did a lot for how much I enjoy Keanu Reeves too.
And then I saw
once again, if you've not seen Always Be My Maybe on Netflix,
yeah,
that shit is fucking hilarious.
And it has Keanu Reeves has a small role in it, and it's
as himself,
it's super fantastic. But and then I saw not a preview, but like a little like Bill and Ted were like, hey, we're gonna make another fucking movie, and they like were talking about it, and it was scripted, but it was funny, and I'm like, I want people to just be excellent and to party on, dudes. I miss those times, so work on that. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Makes a man, is it the power in his hands? Is it his quest for glory? Give it all you got to fight to the top, so we can know your story. Now you're a man, now you're a man, man. You are now a man, you're a man. Now you're a man. Live it. What makes a man? Is it the woman in his arms? Just 'cause she has big titties? Or is it the way he fights every day